Donald Trump delayed imposing a 25% tariff on Canadian imports, but trade tensions have already escalated. Canada is not standing idle. Provinces are quickly taking countermeasures, targeting key economic interests of the U.S. Is this a wise strategy or a high-stakes gamble? British Columbia, BC, a vital gateway connecting the U.S. to Alaska, did not wait for a federal response and took immediate action. BC Premier David Eby declared, "We will not stand by while our economy is under attack. If Washington continues to impose tariffs, we have strong measures to respond." BC swiftly proposed tolls on U.S. commercial trucks passing through British Columbia to reach Alaska, a corridor facilitating over $720 million in transported goods annually. Additionally, BC announced a ban on liquor imports from Republican-led states, particularly California, Texas, and Florida. This move directly targeted the U.S. wine and spirits industry, reinforcing BC's firm stance in the trade dispute. The federal government of Canada could not ignore U.S. actions. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau made his position clear. "Canadians are reasonable and we are polite, but we will not back down from a fight. Not when our country and the well-being of everyone in it are at stake." In response, Canada officially imposed a 25% tariff on $155 billion worth of U.S. goods, targeting aluminum, steel, consumer goods, and agricultural products. Finance Minister Dominic LeBlanc emphasized, "Canada does not seek a trade war, but if the U.S. imposes tariffs, we will retaliate." Provinces across Canada followed suit. Nova Scotia banned U.S. companies from bidding on government contracts and doubled road tolls for American commercial trucks. Alberta's Premier Danielle Smith warned, "The Trump administration is forcing Canada into a defensive stance. If this continues, both sides will suffer the consequences." Manitoba and Newfoundland took decisive action by banning U.S. liquor imports and reviewing trade contracts to reduce reliance on American suppliers. Many Canadian businesses joined the movement, boycotting U.S. goods and applying economic pressure on American producers. Rather than merely countering Trump's tariffs, Canada is fundamentally shifting its trade strategy. Under the Comprehensive and Progressive Agreement for Trans-Pacific Partnership, CPTPP, Canada has strengthened exports to Japan, Australia, and Southeast Asia. Trade Minister Mary Ng stated, "We are building a trade ecosystem that is less dependent on the U.S." Additionally, Canada is increasing exports to Europe through the Comprehensive Economic and Trade Agreement, CETA, leveraging tariff-free trade opportunities to diversify its markets. To support this transition, the Canadian government is offering financial incentives to help businesses shift exports to alternative markets, ensuring economic stability amid ongoing U.S. trade pressures. Trade disputes between the U.S. and Canada are not new. In 1982, the softwood lumber conflict erupted when the U.S. accused Canada of subsidizing its timber industry. This battle has persisted for decades, with multiple legal cases at the World Trade Organization, WTO. More recently, in 2018, the Trump administration imposed tariffs on aluminum and steel, prompting Canada to retaliate with tariffs on politically sensitive U.S. exports, including agricultural goods from swing states. The U.S. claims its tariffs are justified under national security grounds, but Canada argues they violate the United States-Mexico-Canada Agreement, USMCA. Although Canada could take legal action at the WTO, past experiences show that the U.S. often ignores unfavorable rulings. Canada has an ace up its sleeve: energy exports. If Canada were to cut off oil and gas exports to the U.S., it would cause a major shock to America's energy sector. What would happen if the U.S.'s most critical energy source suddenly shut down? A full-blown energy crisis could unfold, with soaring fuel prices and economic instability. Is this merely a threat, or a genuine warning? Imagine the U.S. abruptly losing one of its most vital energy suppliers. Oil prices would skyrocket, driving up the cost of living and manufacturing. Northern states like Michigan, New York, and Minnesota could plunge into freezing conditions without heating power. This isn't just a hypothetical situation, it could soon become reality if trade tensions don't cool down. The Trump administration's aggressive protectionist trade policies have fueled escalating tensions. In response, Ottawa is hinting at a powerful secret weapon: energy. Canada isn't just another trading partner. It is the lifeline of the U.S. economy, supplying oil, natural gas, electricity, and even nuclear fuel. Over 50% of U.S. crude oil imports come from Canada, a staggering number that explains why Washington cannot afford to ignore this crucial relationship. If this supply were disrupted, the damage would extend beyond economics. It would create intense political pressure on the White House and major industrial corporations across the nation. From Alberta's oil fields and natural gas reserves to the clean hydropower generated in Quebec and Manitoba, Canada holds an enormous energy advantage. Cutting off this energy supply wouldn't just be an economic blow, it would trigger a significant political shockwave, shaking the stability of North America's energy market. Could Canada use this leverage in the same way Russia wielded gas supplies as a geopolitical weapon? Would Ottawa consider shifting oil and gas exports to the European Union or even China? If Canada truly shut off the energy supply, a nightmare scenario could unfold. Oil and gas prices in the US would soar uncontrollably. Northern states could face severe heating crises during brutal winters, directly affecting millions of people. But the damage wouldn't stop there. Key U.S. industries, steel production, automotive manufacturing, aviation, and agriculture, would struggle under immense cost pressures. Major corporations, lawmakers, and even the White House would scramble for solutions, but by then, it might already be too late to prevent disaster. For Canadians, this isn't just about trade, it's about national pride. The idea of becoming America's 51st state is no longer a harmless joke but an insult to a nation fiercely proud of its independence. In Alberta, where oil plays a critical role in the local economy, producers are asking if they can redirect supplies to China or Europe. The answer, for now, is no, but with time and determination, Canada could build the infrastructure necessary to break free from reliance on the US market. Canada is striking back, sending shockwaves through the U.S. industrial sector, with an estimated 14,000 American jobs already lost due to the trade standoff. Can a neighboring country truly trigger an economic storm that threatens the employment and industry of a superpower like the U.S.? The political atmosphere has slightly cooled after a temporary 30-day tariff pause, but the underlying tensions remain unresolved. Canadian political leaders are now not only aiming to defuse the situation but are proactively expanding relations with the EU and Eastern partners to reduce dependence on the US. Meanwhile, Trump's provocative remarks, suggesting Canada will inevitably become the 51st state, have fueled nationalistic sentiment among Canadians. Social media campaigns like #BoycottUSA have gone viral, with millions of shares and comments reflecting national pride and defiance. With a declining number of Canadian tourists traveling to the US and estimated losses of $2.1 billion in the American tourism industry, the impact is real. The economic shockwave is being felt across multiple sectors, from airlines to retail and hospitality. With total trade between the two nations reaching approximately $1.2 trillion United States dollars, even a minor disruption has the potential to trigger a domino effect. So, is Canada's counterattack a warning sign of an impending economic storm? Can the US afford to ignore its northern neighbors' mounting frustration? With Trump's tariff reimposition, has Canada found a golden opportunity to reshape the global trade landscape? The coming months may reveal whether this high-stakes game will lead to resolution or full-scale economic warfare.